That's all I've ever wanted.
Jeremy, what if what we're living today is what that future of Star Wars is? Just a bland recording a podcast. But a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there were Jedis and shit, and everything was cool.
Like one of us.
But we're just sitting here slave waging for shit.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah.
Just sick and tired of all these Star Wars.
Can't wait till we get out of Africa.
Well, welcome back, Rabbit Troop Sucks. We're coming at you week 2 of Halloween. So we're back at you with some Halloween weather. It's officially the fall again. And we're here with Wes Craven's Shocker from 1989. And maybe not best Wes Craven film we're going to ever review. I was gonna open with that.
No, it was apparently supposed to be like a series, kind of take over for Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
but then it didn't because it sucks.
Yeah, and we should talk about that through because
we should.
I just can't imagine any of that really happening with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it would.
You guys can't imagine Skinner from X-Files just running around killing people over 6 movies.
Honestly, I would have been okay with that. If he was, I'll say in it more, but yeah, I mean we'll get through that. But
yeah, we'll even open just directly with a summary. After being sent to the electric chair, a serial killer uses electricity to come back from the dead and carry out his vengeance on the football player who turned him into the police.
Mm-hmm.
You did it.
Yeah.
That is a good synopsis of what this movie is about.
It is. I forgot how Wes Craven died. Let's start with that. I had to look it up. Wes Craven unfortunately died in 2015 from brain cancer. I think every time I think of Wes Craven, even though I'm going to go through this movie and not really defend that it's amazing, but I think everyone should at least appreciate Wes Craven and what he brought to the field of horror and fun. I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street, amongst other things. I mean, a real loss, and I think a real pioneer in the field. And clearly, people will be giving him homages in films forever and always. And if people don't know Nightmare on Elm Street, we got Scream. I have one that I totally forgot, and we should do for this podcast at one point in time. Vampire in Brooklyn. I forgot.
Oh, absolutely.
I totally forgot it was Wes Craven. Yeah.
Oh, that's really? I didn't know.
Yeah, that was awesome. And the cherry on top for me, if anyone knows me at all, I love Twilight Zone episodes and even 80s Twilight Zone episodes. And he directed a handful of the 80s Twilight Zone episodes. But yeah, Wes Craven is overall awesome. This movie is shocking. And
I'm glad you mentioned those 80s Twilight Zone episodes. Those are hidden gems, I think.
I'm always going to give an homage to those Twilight Zone episodes. Yeah, Lamar and I watched a ton of them. If anyone has not watched the 80s Twilight Zone, they terrified the hell out of me as a kid. That opening was frightening as hell. Like you're in this weird room and the windows look like a nuclear fallout and a haunting voice. And yeah, it was just very 80s, but some of the stories I still remember today. And there's a ton of stars. I mentioned Seth Green once was on one of the episodes that I remembered. So
you did.
Yeah, and we don't have a ton of people that I really feel I know in this film. To be honest, I have people I've seen before. We got the real. Does anyone know how to pronounce his last name?
Who? I don't. I've never known how to pronounce his last name.
I'm gonna guess Pileggi.
Okay, so Mitch Pileggi is Horace Pinker, and everyone is gonna know him as Agent Skinner from the X-Files. And here he's a serial killer who's crazy as hell. I just kept referencing him as the Shocker.
And I do know Peter Berg. I mean, he's been in several movies. And then obviously John Tesh as the news guy.
That one threw me off. Wow.
John Tesh transcended time for me on this one. Yeah, Camille Cooper was in The Lawnmower Man. One of the victims is Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street. And that's Heather Langenkamp. And what do we got? Peter Berg. I've never watched, but he's in apparently a million episodes of Chicago Hope.
Which one's he?
The main character.
Oh.
That's Jonathan.
I hate
Johnny.
You don't like
decent.
Jonathan?
He looked like, this is weird. He looked like Kevin Dillon doing an impression of Dante from Grandma's Boy.
Okay.
That was his performance for me.
Wow, that's deep.
Just like Kevin Dillon being like, oh, guys, you want some drugs? And I got this monkey. That was the main character for me through the entire 2-hour runtime of this movie, and I couldn't handle it.
Well, Mike disarmed me so much. Let's not go too far ahead. Hi, we're Rabbit Troop Sucks.
Mike was rooting for Skinner.
And as always, I'm Paul. Next to me is Mike. Next to Mike is Jeremy. And next to Jeremy is Lamar. Hi, everybody. We're a podcast about obscure, forgotten about, and often overlooked movies. And hey, welcome back to our second week of October fun. And I hope you keep drinking some Oktoberfest and some pumpkin beers from Fiction Beer, as discussed in our last episode. So hit up Fiction Beer, tell them we say hello, and drink your Oktoberfest and your pumpkin beers. Okay, I have a little bit of trivia to open up with this movie that Mike actually got to hear not too long ago. So Mike and I were guests, as noted last week as well, at the Aurora Mini Fest as panelists, and I don't know if Mike was prepared for this, but I got to discuss the X rating really quick because I had some of this information off the top of my head. And really, really quickly, why this was brought up, Mike and I were discussing Indiana Jones, primarily Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which came out in 1984. And during this time, Spielberg was getting bombarded with complaints that between Jaws being a little over the top, and especially Gremlins, which also came out in 84, and Indiana Jones, that this is too much, and this is too much for little kids. And Spielberg highlighted that he did not believe it should be rated R, but was an advocate and fought for the PG-13 rating, or, as he just noted, an in-between. And the movie the Movie Picture Association, some people were kind of weird about it, like, don't toy with this. I just don't really know why they said this. But they agreed to a PG-13 rating and in between. The first movie to get it, but was released later that year, was The Flamingo Kid. And the first movie, which Mike asked me, what's the first PG-13 movie you've ever seen? And it was the first movie that was released with PG-13. And for me, it was Red Dawn. That was 1984 with PG-13. And the next time any ratings were ever changed was to change X to NC-17. And it was in 1990, and the reason this was done is, much like all of us have discussed, and I know we're going to do Cobra at some point in time, and we're like, oh my god, Cobra was almost rated X. And we're all like, it's sex and pornography. Apparently not. Apparently a rating of X could be just like over-the-top violence, like an insane amount of violence.
If it's not sex, I don't want to watch it anymore.
And so so just like we all discussed
save
before,
X for the naughty parts.
Yeah, just like we all discussed before, X, everyone just thought was associated with pornography, and they're like, that is not the case. It's just someone has to be an adult, which they have deemed NC-17. And I bring this all up because there was a cut of Shocker, apparently, in the trivia, that this was supposed to be rated X, and it was all for over-the-top violence, not for sex or anything along those lines. Yeah. So, yeah, I just did not know this. Yeah, for just all of my life until recently, I thought a rating of X was always associated with
like
sex and pornography.
Yeah, but apparently not.
Yeah.
I was with you, too. But what level of violence and gore does it take to reach an X?
There were 2 scenes called out when I was reading about this movie that were specifically over the top, that they had to tone down. Other than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, one was the electrocution scene. Like, they had to tone that down.
Yeah, and the other was when he bites the security guard's fingers off. I guess, like, that was way more gnarly.
Okay, so out of the ordinary violence that you probably wouldn't see, kind of something extraordinary outside of a shooting, more like a gore.
Yeah, I think a very, very gory or like realistic description or depictions of it.
All right, kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to open that if someone has not seen this film or wants to see this film, I think you should. It's not, for me, it's not a terrible film, but I think you should go into it much more as a comedy rather than a horror.
Oh, definitely.
Because the stuff that Horace Pinker does, the serial killer, Agent Skinner, he has a lot of asides that we've already started alluding to. And I really feel it's everyone's folly that they keep doubting him. Like, this guy's not that crazy. And then he's biting off fingers and he's like, aha.
He's also got some pretty great one-liners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's full of one-liners.
In IMDb, they classified this as a comedy horror thriller.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do you feel that was the intent on release?
You're not scared in this movie. Like, there's no tension. It's just like some nutty serial killer.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like it's almost like a cross between like Child's Play and that Denzel Washington movie where like the killers transferring bodies and whatnot.
I also feel it's like him riffing on himself with Nightmare on Elm Street, because there's a huge illusions like I gotta go to sleep and this is how I control things and only in a dream state. And I was like, ooh, you should have walked away from all of that. It's just you just didn't even need to do that.
It also didn't make sense in this movie.
Well, here's the thing. Once you get shocked, sky's the limit. If you die getting shocked, you could come back as a ghost. You could maybe not come back.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. You just got to try.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it makes sense if you believe in all of it.
Well, like, Johnny could like do dream shit. He wasn't shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got the glow.
He's got the shine.
Yeah, he's got the shinin.
Jeremy, you mentioned the tags on IMDb. It's like, what'd you say, comedy, horror, and thriller?
Yeah.
I feel those are apt, but in the wrong order. This would be comedy, then thriller, then horror. And
I don't.
It's a better way to take this movie. There's a horror elements, but it's Wes Craven horror that's not on the element of Nightmare on Elm Street, which is heavily influenced in this movie. I think we can all agree.
Oh yeah.
And this was 1989, and Wes Craven, in between 1984 and 1990, directed 6 movies.
I mean, do you think he's influencing himself? Like one day he woke up, he's like, "Damn, I was a great director."
Yes, I do 100% believe that.
So before we go deep in this film, there's one thought that I had. So Jeremy, when this episode is released, you'll be out here soon after that.
Yeah,
so
it'll be on that Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Friday the 13th, which blew my freaking mind. Jeremy will be recording with us in our studio on Friday the 13th in fall, which is crazy. And then I remembered like a floodgate of memories that Jeremy and I have a Friday the 13th story. And I have no idea if he remembers this at all, but I
guarantee you I probably won't until you say it.
Okay. So I don't know all the things that we're doing that day, but it was no joke. Every single thing went wrong for Jeremy and I. If this was a comic book, it was just like the smallest things were destroying everything step by step. So the plan was, it was a Friday, and Jeremy and I were planning to like go see a movie or go to the mall, or probably a combination of both, which was normally the things we were doing. I remember at the time I was dating some girl who was going to a different school, and I don't remember all the schools in Missouri, but she had some friends, and it's kind of like Jeremy and I would meet up, and like her and her girlfriends would meet up, and it was like very ideal for both of us. But the situation was, I remember Jeremy was already having like some kind of car problems, or then there was like getting gas problems. So Jeremy's like already running late. Not a big deal. Then Jeremy, and this is, you got to remember, a world of no cell phones, etc. And so I think these, girls were meeting. It was, like I'll call you at this time and we'll meet up. Jeremy and I went to several different payphones and none of them were working. Like, this is not even a joke. Like, I remember we're at like a grocery store and it didn't work. I think we went to a gas station. It's not working. Then we eventually get to one. And now we're like super late. Then I had some brilliant move. I was like, I'm going to call home. Maybe they called us. My mom's like now pissed. Mom's like, these girls are like calling off the hook. Like, where are you? Aren't you supposed to meet them? So my mom is angry because like she's getting all these calls. The girl I'm dating, I eventually like get a hold of her, and she's angry and not really believing Jeremy and I are like late. Like, where were you guys? We're like at phones. Like, that's where we're at. Like we were at phones. And then she was pissed off about this. And then I think some other events like went on. I think like the movie we tried to go see like was sold out. Like that was a thing that happened. And then we're like, oh my God, like we don't want to see the 12 o'clock movie. Or I don't even know if I would be allowed to see the 12 o'clock movie that would end at 2 a.m. if I was like 16 or 17. Maybe I was. Then the night culminates where Jeremy comes over to my house and he's like, dude, I'm exhausted. Just dead to earth. Like, all these setbacks, all these headaches. And he's like, do you just mind if I spend the night? And I was like, yeah, I'll just tell my parents. And my mom's like, no. I was like, it was, for no reason. She's like, no, I don't want anyone to spend the night. And I was like, he's really tired. And I think my mom was just really pissed off. She was getting these phone calls. And like, again, this is a world of no cell phones and stuff like that. And she was just getting call after call after call that night. And yeah, I guess she was put out by that. But yeah, she wouldn't let Jeremy spend the night, which is like super bizarre. My mom, super nice. There was no rhyme or reason. I even remember the next day, I was like, why could he not spend the night? Mom's like, because I said no. And we were just like, that was it. I was like, what? Like, what? I was like, I told you he was tired. Like, we weren't even going to like stay up. Mom's like, no excuse. Like, it was super bizarre. Wow. But it is a Friday the 13th. I'll always remember. Hopefully we get to mirror it on the day he comes in.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And we had a power outage when we were recording not too long ago. What could go wrong?
A lot could go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, well.
Wow. Go trick-or-treating.
Yeah, I always kind of think fondly back to it, Jeremy. I know maybe you don't remember any of this, but
those are our high school days.
Yeah.
I was driving the 84 Buick Electra station wagon.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. That was the car that was breaking down on you?
Or just something with
yeah,
gas
it was my grandparents' car.
Yeah, it was just like a super bizarre day. But yeah, I have kind of fond memories of looking back because it's kind of just like a story of like two guys who did nothing wrong, but just the universe said, nah, I'm going to toy with you
not today, guys.
You couldn't even like sleep it off. You just wanted to go lay down. And
yeah,
I could have slept in the back of that Buick Electra station wagon, I'll tell you that.
Maybe you did. You don't remember.
Who knows?
That's true.
I think one of the things we need to know before we really get into Shocker is just how amazing the music is.
The music fucking rocks.
The 80s rock.
Yeah.
Like hard rock.
Oh, yeah. So the movie opens with Shocker. The movie's called Shocker. The song also titled Shocker by Dudes of Wrath.
Was this song written for this movie? Is there a Dudes of Wrath album that I can buy?
Outside of one song, I think all these songs were made for this movie. I feel
we're honorary.
Well, no, because No More Mr. Nice Guy is. That's
the exception.
Song.
Yeah,
everything else seems catered for this movie.
Yeah, outside of the one Megadeth song, I'm going to be scrambling to find out like who these people are. But Dudes of Wrath, as I said, I think we are all honorary members of Dudes of Wrath, and we open the movie with a guy who looks like he's soldering a radio, listening to Dudes of Wrath, and then Jonathan, our lead, our high school lead, is getting a hard time at the football game just because he can't concentrate.
Well, no, before that, though, he's at a coffee stand that's fucking on the campus of the high school.
Yeah, you don't drink coffee before the big game?
Well, I did. No, but I mean, I don't know if I drank coffee in high school. But did anybody have? Is there any high school in the United States that has like a fucking coffee stand out like the quad?
They're in college. This is college.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
I have some interesting.
Oh my god, dude! I thought they were in high school.
No, I did too at first, but it is mentioned that they're in college.
I have some interesting trivia for this before we get too deep. There's also 3 Cravens in this movie.
Okay. Are they related?
Yes. It is Wes Craven makes an appearance in this movie, and his son and his daughter.
Huh.
Just brief appearances. They're cameos.
Huh.
The beginning
Did you mark them, Lamar?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to tell us when they
about at this little concession stand on campus. The girl is Wes Craven's daughter.
Interesting.
Oh, no shit.
She's in it. She has 2 lines. She's in it for like a second. We never see her again. I'll point them out as they show up. The other Cravens.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or if you want to know now. Or shall we keep that a secret?
I like
keep it a secret until it comes up.
Bam, Craven.
Can we talk about Dudes of Wrath again for a second?
Yes, always.
Because I just looked this up.
We can mainly talk about Dudes of Wrath.
Okay, new tack. This is now a Dudes of Wrath podcast.
Yeah, hashtag Dudes of Wrath.
So, Dudes of Wrath was a one-off supergroup.
Of course.
Supergroup? What is that?
It's like the Justice League.
Yeah, formed to record songs for the horror film Shocker. The band included Paul Stanley from Kiss, Tommy Lee from Motley Crue.
That doesn't surprise me.
Holy shit!
Alice Cooper.
Oh, wow.
Rudy Sarzo, who is the bass player for Dio. And a couple other guys who I don't know. But like,
how is that not at the top of the fucking trivia list?
Right, yeah. That's fucking dope.
Wow.
I'd listened to that band. They didn't record an album, apparently.
I'm going to give a spoiler for this movie. Okay. You know who the real dudes of Wrath are? The amazing football team and their "I will follow you to the gates of hell" attitude. That football team.
Yeah, that doesn't come until later, but
holy wow!
The coach, fucking Rhino, always bailing him out.
Yeah.
The coach, the assistant coach, the coach is. These guys don't even need to say fully what's happening. Like, coach, there's demons. And the coach is on board. I've known Jeremy almost my entire life. If I told Jeremy there are demons, he'd be like, cool, we're still going to podcast on Saturday, right?
Like, I'd be like, all right, man, whatever, I don't know what you're going through.
I'm not going to kill someone or break windows to get you or shut down electric grids. But damn, those are the real dudes of Earth.
Yeah, they are. This team is tight.
Are they doing well this season? Because I really hope they are.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny's their star receiver.
And, the intro to him is just not that great.
Yeah, so we meet Jonathan, who's doing weird stuff at football and having a hard time, and then he's walking past some super creeped out van, and then he's talking to his girlfriend, and then that's a dream. And that's going to be one of many dreams that you're like, why are you even dreaming this stuff? But it was all the dream. And Jonathan wakes up, and he dreamt straight up of a murder. That he was at his girlfriend Allison's house, and he dreamt that someone broke into his house, murdered everyone, called his dad, and his dad's like, yeah, they murdered everyone. I'm only laughing because his dad is kind of nonchalant and airs. Right. And, well, his dad is super irate, always, until he lights a cigarette.
Dude, this whole fucking scenario with the family thing confused the shit out of me.
It was weird.
Daddy's fostering like 20 children.
Yeah, so like, did the killer in this dream, like, were they killed in the house that is the house that they are then in the rest of the movie also?
Yes.
So that's super fucking weird, man.
Right. Yeah. He was dreaming about the murder, we find out, of his family.
Because he was at Allison's house.
He was at Allison's
house. I get all that. Yeah. I thought that, like, the dad and the mom were divorced, and, like,
no.
So the rest of the movie, like there is a major fucking gruesome death that comes up.
And here's a fun thing. So his dad is his foster dad. Like shout out to everyone who fosters people. Like, that's not like some like weird side note. But I'm just saying this because
it's important.
And it would also because there's a relationship dynamic between both of them. Also, it would make sense depending when you started fostering someone if you started calling them by their first name. So his dad's name is Don, but I swear to God, half the time he's like, listen, Don. And the other time he's like, Dad, I need help. Or, like, I shouldn't say he needs help because that's like the sympathy card. Just 50-50, Don, Dad. I was like, what the hell's going on? Also, if your daddy is apparently like the chief of police, you can do whatever you...
Lieutenant.
Detective? Yeah, you could do, he's a lieutenant, You could do whatever you want in this town. You could go on crimes.
Yeah.
Bathe in blood, friend.
Oh, my God.
Commit crimes in front of the police. They don't care.
Yeah. Commit crimes to police.
Was your family just murdered? Yeah. You're the lead detective. I bet you'll find that guy, which would never happen.
Yo, Chief, he's not supposed to go in here. What are you going to do? I don't know. Let him in.
Anything for you, birthday boy.
Yeah, so he calls Lieutenant Don Parker, his foster dad, and they both go to the house. And the dad's like, no, you got to stay out of here. And then we find out there's like this Dexter backstory where he's like, you were beaten as a child. I don't want you to see this. And, Don/dad is trying to protect Jonathan, but Jonathan just does whatever he wants. I mean...
Well, he doesn't let him in the crime scene, but he starts telling his Don about the details.
Yeah. Like, I had dreams.
Yeah, he's like, I had dreams. And he's like, no, you didn't. You're a stupid kid. And he's like, no. Like, the kid, my brother's fingers were broken in this particular way, and my sister was murdered upstairs.
Did you notice there were like van mark tires on the side, the street? They're like, how did you know that?
Yeah, here's some choice dialogue between Don and Jonathan. So Jonathan tells his dad that he's dreamt of murder, as we noted. He's able to give a full, accurate account. And the biggest thing is he notes the van. He's like, I'm going to do this. And Dad says, what is this shit? And follows up with, are you on drugs or what? And Jonathan pulls, as I noted, like these weird deals. He's like, I'll tell you everything. He's like, okay, like I'm willing to listen. He's like, yeah, but I'm coming with you. He's like, that's not against like a procedure. Or he goes, that's against procedure. And he goes, F procedure. And he goes, okay.
And the dad's like, that's fine. You're good. And that happens many times throughout the movie, by the way.
So I would say this. Well, let's open realistically, Jeremy. And I see this. I think this one time in the movie, you're like, I had this crazy dream. He's like, it's against procedure, but like, is this real? I'm going to drive my crazy son to the scene and nothing's going to happen. I think I could buy it once. There is a scene.
No.
Well, maybe like we I was wondering, later in the film, there is a straight up like SWAT assault on a warehouse that Jonathan is just part of. Like it's not even like I'm coming. He's like just straight up walking in with the police. Like he's Batman in the new movie. Like who cares? Like vigilante Jonathan.
So when he's having this dream.
What kind of dream, Mike?
A wet dream.
Yeah. A gooey dream.
The dream where she's being murdered.
Yeah, where his family's being murdered. He's interacting with. He sees the murderer. It's A.D. Skinner. But like
Pinky.
It is Pinky. They interact, and in one of his dreams later, it's highly suggested that he's not. He is dreaming, but like his dream self is actually there and visible.
He is straight up astrally projecting himself.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Because
out of body experience.
Because the murderer sees him and recognizes him as the ghost that was haunting.
Oh yeah, they try to fight.
Site. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and he jumps through him, and that's when he wakes up.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. There's a lot of stuff that happens later in the movie that's just like, I just assume this stuff happens.
Yeah,
so it's all supernatural mixed in.
Well, that's the thing. Like, up until this point, nothing supernatural's happened yet. No one is the shocker.
That's true.
We just have some dummy kids.
I went in with Wes Craven mind in mind.
Spoiler, the shocker is maybe 20 minutes of this movie, and that power is used twice.
Yeah, this is two movies. This is one movie where a child and his father hunt a serial killer.
Yes.
And then a separate movie where a superpowered killer takes over people's bodies.
Right.
This is two
chases
different
after the kid.
Yeah. And to really quickly just jumpstart it, because we got to get to that shocking situation is, it turns out like this is this dude, and the cops are pissed because they're like, oh my God, we're going off a dream. And then they straight up break in. Like they have a discussion. They all
break into his warehouse. Again,
this happens all the time in the movie. They're like, we have an ethical dilemma. Here's a really short excuse. Ethical dilemma overachieved. Let's go.
Yeah. So they break in. One of the cops is immediately nabbed, and you just see just like a gallon of blood just ooze from under a shelf.
Yeah.
And they're like, where did that guy go? And I swear to God, Jonathan is just looking at like the cigarette the cop was smoking that is now on the floor for a minute, and then says something.
Yeah, that's because he's a goddamn dingbat.
Yeah, it's super weird, but yeah. And then Horace takes the cop, apparently that he killed, wears the outfit, goes outside, kills a bunch of other cops. Then I thought it was going to be a bold move where he drives off in the cop car. He drives off in his van.
The van with his goddamn name on it.
And he has like a maniacal laugh. He's like,
I do like to laugh. And he yells out, yeah, as he's driving by.
Yeah.
Why'd he take the uniforms?
Yeah, 4 cops are dead. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But then quickly we get a new morning, and it's a newspaper, and we get John Tesh. What was it? Entertainment Tonight, John Tesh?
Yes.
Yeah, Entertainment Tonight, John Tesh. And we get a bunch of scenes of newspapers. The killer has been identified, and we see Pinker, and he's pissed off. And then there's a lot of dream talk, and then we get a lot of one of many, the lead character Jonathan just working out or sitting in the vibomatic chair that he has in his room.
Did you catch what John Tesh said in the news report?
No,
I wrote this down because I thought it was ridiculous. Because of a list of patterns that the police refused to make public, they believe that this is the same killer. That list of patterns was him killing multiple people.
Yeah, and it's like,
it was the late 80s.
By the way,
that was the pattern.
Like this guy in this newscast, he has killed 7 families to date in like a short period of time. This entire area would be under martial law. Like they would have the FBI there. Like everybody would be in this town, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it goes right back to the news. We just see some other scenes, and Jonathan's doing God knows what, and it goes right back to Tesh, highlighting that this is going to keep going on. And this is I chuckled and rewound this because this just seemed out of place. They're like, well, they did go through his house, and there was a secret room that they found where that's where he practices black magic and animal sacrifice.
I do remember that.
And it was like a real quick footnote. It was like, this guy's killed so many people, and everyone should be afraid. And there's he kills animals and does black magic. Secret room.
I feel like
about that.
I feel like the existing TV repairmen in this world are probably users of black magic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of this world, of our world now,
of like our current time right now.
I don't even know who those people could be.
Oh yeah, he's a TV. He's a TV repairman because he is.
Well, we also need to say that Jonathan has been dating this girl Allison. That's who he stayed over at, and that is how his life was essentially saved. They're clearly super intimate. I mean, he's just laying in bed at this time. She's taking a bath. And then later he gets in his car and leaves. I think he's got some football stuff to do. And then,
but he gives her
Mike. What kind of car is that, by the way?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know old American stuff like a Bel Air or something.
Oh, I know. I was gonna identify
because it's like an ancient car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike did note, though, a key point that he's like, before I leave, here's her early birthday present. And it's a little heart-shaped necklace.
Yeah, she's like, how you remembered with everything going on.
Yay. And then he gets into his car and drives off, and she's brutally stabbed to death by a Pinker, like, within moments. And I thought, wow, that was super short-lived. This is one of my favorite scenes with the coach. This is father coach coming out. And he's like, Jonathan, think you need to go home. He's like, what happened, coach? Think you need to go home. Coach, did something happen? Jonathan, just make sure to go home.
Yeah, get home, buddy.
Yeah, because clearly...
A lot of good news waiting for you there.
Coach got a call like, hey, Jonathan's girlfriend, Allison? Yeah, she's quite the beauty. How's she's doing? She's brutally stabbed. Send Jonathan home. That's where she's at. So he'll love it. There's a little... She'll be there. Everything's great.
And by the way, they make no attempt when he gets home to stop him from doing anything.
Actually, you can hear
on this that's what I was saying before. This guy can do whatever he wants.
You can hear one of the officers say, "Hey, isn't that Johnny?
You should
stop him at the door." And no one does anything, like you said.
In his arms.
So apparently, Allison was in the bathtub when Pinker came in and filled her with 85 more gallons of blood until she pops.
Yeah.
Because Jonathan walks in and it's like Beverly's scene in It, where she's scrubbing blood off the floor. And he's touching everything. He's touching walls. He's covered in her blood. Like he walks past like 5 officers and covers himself in blood like he's a blood monster and freaks out on the floor. And they're like, yeah, man, that totally sucks. He's not doing well. And then we basically just go right to a funeral scene. She's dead.
Horace also left a message for Johnny on the wall. Happy birthday from Horace, written in her blood.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
It was a nice little touch.
I mean, honestly,
it is a nice touch.
I mean, honestly, outside of Jonathan, I didn't hear any other birthday wishes.
No.
So.
At least someone said something to him.
I know.
It was nicely remembered.
Yeah. Sometimes people just get, it's all about what they do is wrong. What about what they do is right?
Pinky is very thoughtful.
Yeah. I mean, he seemed to have a good filing system for his junkyard. I mean, I bet all those nails and clips were filed.
Oh man,
Pinky is technically the anti-hero of this movie.
I don't know why I wrote this.
Okay.
My only note for the funeral I wrote, so it's going to go from the funeral to then at night. Mm-hmm. But the only thing I wrote for Allison's funeral is Jonathan is not feeling it.
Well, no, it was a sad affair.
Okay, so then we get to meet Rhino. Because then at night we get his friend drives on the field next to
they're just
track.
parked on the track.
Which makes no sense. Like they're basically just on like the field of the school. And his friend Rhino is like, hey man, here's my car. And be cool with it, and then Jonathan drives off.
Yeah.
And then I also note he parks at least 5 feet from the curb. I don't know what was going on, but I mean, there was like a full human body's width or length away from.
He didn't want to scratch Rhino's rims.
Yeah,
that's okay.
It's just polite.
Yeah, but he highlights he knows where Pinker is.
Well, he has another dream.
But let me ask you this: How does he induce that dream? He just goes to sleep.
I guess.
It seems like sometimes Jonathan's just like this. But that's it. Like,
Wes Craven has a fascination with like the dream world, maybe.
But I thought at first I thought he was taking drugs to do this, but he just has the ability to like immediately go into deep REM sleep.
Okay, let me ask you this: so Pinker's killed what 7 families now?
Yeah,
there's like 30 people. I think it's noted in the news. 7 families, 30 people.
There's nothing. The first time he dreams of Pinker is because he's killing his family. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what brought him in. So he wasn't dreaming about all of Pinker's other murders and just thinking it was
just
really weird.
He's very selfish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does to Medusa, but he does have one. And he wakes up.
Yeah, he's in a dream.
No,
this next scene.
Yeah, because I'm straight up noting because I like after the scene ends, I was like, how did he just like go to bed and just like I'm in a dream?
Right.
I mean, it's honestly
he's sleeping in the car.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so imagine anyone listening to this, you are in a car, you turn it off, and then you close your eyes and you're just asleep. I wish I had that power. That seems fantastic.
Well, he probably ran a hose from the tailpipe directly.
That's what they did rated X. That was the X cut. Now it's all coming together.
The scene is cut.
The fast forward sleep method. I see.
But he was sleeping in the car because he wanted to find out where he was going to be so he could drive there.
Yeah, and then he sees him, and that's when Pinker first is like, "Whoa, what? Dream self, bro. Harsh buzz."
Yeah, it was. And he refers to all women as bitches throughout the entirety of this movie.
He's a dreamboat.
Yeah,
he's a dreamboat. This guy's the whole package. Yeah,
Pinky and the bitches.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got that he just rolls up to the apartment where Jonathan is dreamed of. Oh yeah, is what you were noting. So yeah. So he dreams of where Pinker is, and then he goes there.
Yeah, and they run into each other, and they have a little
dream off.
No one's dreaming now.
Yeah, it's a tussle.
But they have a little tussle, which Jonathan wins by fucking like Liu Kang kicking him into a goddamn building.
I took a couple screenshots of that. Yeah, so
that's great.
It's amazing. So I have to take a sip of this water. I have to just enunciate correctly on this. Jonathan gets a running start on a rooftop. And this is brilliant because even if Mike, you don't like Jonathan, you've got to give him this one.
This is the same roof that was in Judgment Night, the same ladder.
Oh, yeah, totally. Of course.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, like a ladder like duct taped together.
Damn,
and then,
it really was.
So, yeah, Pinker is on one rooftop and Jonathan wants to get to the other side. So he runs and jumps super far to get on that roof. He does it. Great job. His next move is he like lands, then gets up, continues to run, and I love this. It's clearly an all or nothing move. Like if you fail, it's over. He runs, and as hard as he can, he puts both of his legs in the air, as Mike said, Liu Kang style, and double kicks Pinker right into a door. It's brilliant because if you land it, like you won, dude. But if you don't, you're probably going off a roof, or he's going to turn around and beat the hell out of you. But he pulled it off.
It worked, yeah. And the cops are there somehow. Oh, did Rhino call the cops?
Maybe.
That's a possibility.
I mean, the cops just show up wherever. I mean,
they come bursting out of that door.
His dad, Don, clearly knows where he's at all points in time.
Yeah, I think his dad has a habit of calling for backup a lot, so I think they just followed him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and Pinker definitely gets some harsh shots off on Jonathan, and it's very clear.
Fucks him up a little bit.
Yeah, and it's very clear he could have, I would assume, have the upper hand in this situation, but he starts laughing. He's like, ha ha ha, yeah. And he's like, he says some weird stuff, and then Jonathan convinces his dad that he wants to go to the execution when it's inevitable.
Yeah. He says he's earned it.
Yeah, I've earned it, and Dad goes, I'll get box seats. and
then they do get box seats. They're dead center.
Yeah, and we get
for this execution.
And we roll right into No More Mr. Nice Guy by Megadeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this next scene was fucking bonkers.
Well, let's also talk about this.
Okay.
What's the time jump here? Like you would
months, I would assume.
I know.
We're not. Yeah.
Yes.
We're beyond that.
Yeah. There's no death row. There's no years.
No.
There's this. It seems like a few weeks later, this guy was just tried because Jonathan is still in the same grade in college.
Yeah.
He's still working on this with the same football team.
One of them had a cut that was like scarred over by the time this scene happened. So I'm getting like at least enough time for like a cut to heal.
Yeah.
A couple weeks, who knows?
Oh yeah. But we're at the day of the execution. Mm-hmm. We get Pinker sitting in a cell electrocuting himself.
Well, yeah, the priest.
This is weird.
Yeah, this is super weird. So like the guards and the priest are like, his last request was a TV. Guy must really like TV.
Multiple TVs.
And
I think there was like 2 TVs.
And he's in his goddamn cell with, I don't know who gave him the jumper cables,
Yeah,
but he's got like he's all jumper cabled up to the TV.
Standard issue.
So if you look closely, I think they're like little paper clips. So I think he like manufactured them. And
okay,
it does look like jumper cables.
Yeah,
they do.
He's saying this is fun. He goes, "Give it to me," and then you hear a demon voice. Mike,
the demon comes
voice
out. Yeah,
you got it, baby.
Yeah, that was the first and only appearance of that demon voice.
Yes.
So well played. So
well, the demon was in the TV and went into his titties via the jumper cables.
Yeah, and so we get a priest who's really pissed off about this whole situation, and 2 guards, and the guards are like, "Oh man, this guy's crazy as hell."
Well, they think he's dead.
Yeah, and they try to revive him, and Pinker bites off the lips of one guy, and then the fingers of another guy.
And this was one of the scenes that was gussied up to
toned down,
rated X.
And bold move, he calls the priest a pecker ass.
Mm-hmm. And then after so one guy has no fingers, another guy's like lower half of his face is ripped off, and they're like, this motherfucker, and they beat the shit out of him.
And wouldn't you?
And the pun he makes after biting off the finger is, "It's finger licking good."
I think we were all warned that there was not going to be another Mr. Nice Guy. I think it was pretty clear. So
he was the last one.
I read the room correctly on this. But yeah, they eventually get him to the execution chamber. So he sees that Jonathan is there and highlights that he's Jonathan's father. He says he used to beat him as a kid. He calls Jonathan a pecker head instead of a pecker ass. I don't know if that's an upgrade or a downgrade. Maybe a lateral move. I don't know how it works in the world of Horace Pinker. But yeah, they blast him with a bolt of lightning and electricity, that is. And he is not dead. He is super not dead. Yeah, his head looks off. It's on fire. It looks like he was rolling around in molten lava. He's not looking good. And then he's just gone. And they put down a lockdown, and everyone's trying to find Horace Pinker, who was strapped in a chair.
Yeah.
And it's really weird.
So they sent like a doctor in to check on him.
Yeah.
And the doctor gets shocked when she touches him.
Shocker.
And this, as we find out, was him transferring his consciousness into the body of that doctor.
That is correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So they send people in. They help the doctor get out.
And now we're at a different movie.
And now it is a completely different
film.
Well,
yeah, I do want to note that the last time we see Horace Pinker like this, Jonathan again gets to run in the execution chamber.
No, they're letting him in.
Yeah, he's what the fuck? I know.
He's behind the scenes. This guy's got an all-access pass to the world, which I wish I could buy as well.
He's a lieutenant's son.
But it's brilliant. Yeah, if you become a lieutenant's son, you can do whatever you want. Apparently. Yeah. They see Horace's body that just falls out, and then Obi-Wan's itself out of existence.
And then, what does the dad say? Whoa, that chair really kicks ass.
Yeah, God, I love the dad. The dad, as I noted, is always irate, and then he smokes a cigarette, and he's totally calm.
Yeah.
And this is when we learn that the cop was, or the cop's driving the doctor away. This is what Mike was noting, that the doctor is actually possessed. Or someone said that.
Yeah, the doctor is possessed.
Oh, that's a shocker.
Yeah. And so I don't know what the cops are saying, some dumb bullshit or whatever. The doctor wakes up in the back of the police cruiser, grabs one of the cops' heads and twists it all the way around.
Yeah. So then the car goes off the road and everyone sees this explosion. So quickly, like all the emergency crews are there. And I notice the fire department is just hosing down a gas fire. Mm-hmm. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, man.
I mean, they were actively...
Bad policy.
So like a tanker flipped over, which had some kind of flammable liquid, and they're just hosing that down. Yeah. And you could see that none of it's going out. I know that's kind of just the props and stagehands like doing that, but I'm like, yeah, you would probably make all of this worse. But yeah, I just wrote hosing a gas fire ? Mm-hmm. But something...
This is also the scene where John finally tells his dad, like, "Hey, I don't think this guy's dead."
That's right.
Like,
yeah. He's like fucking... he's hopping around,
and we find out one of the cops is alive. They're like, "Oh man, this cop was luckily thrown 500 feet from the car. He
was thrown clear of the accident, thankfully. Yeah. Thank God he wasn't wearing his seatbelt.
But he's banged the shit up, and so they're taking him to the hospital. And guess what? I bet you could all guess what happened to this police officer. Mm-hmm. What are you guessing?
He got shocked.
I'm guessing there's a little shocking involved.
Yeah. Shocker.
How about that?
Yeah.
He's got a pinky in him.
What did you say?
He's got more than just a pinky.
Pinky's violating him.
This is some Dane Cook shit now. You gotta. It's 3 fingers, I think.
This is when Johnny goes home and goes to sleep, has another dream sequence.
Yeah, that is exactly what happens because this guy can nap anytime he needs to.
Anytime.
He's got such a dope waterbed. I mean, he's just falling asleep right away.
That's true. It's bigger.
Guys, I'm gonna make an admission right now. I have never in my life laid on a waterbed.
What?
Ever.
Really?
I've never experienced one in my life.
Wow.
I don't know if you're missing much. I owned a waterbed for most of my high school years. It's a really bizarre experience, I will say that. But I'll say a regular bed is superior in 95% of sleeping. I'll just say that. You want that, not a waterbed.
This is a mattress review brought to you by Rabbit Troop Sucks.
Rabbit Troop Sucks loves waterbed.
It was fun for the time, but no. Just say no to waterbeds.
Hear me out. What if we had a water floor? So my whole floor was just like a 50 times X king size water bed that we turned into a floor, and that's what we record on. We just swish around.
Okay.
The listeners can hear it swish.
Yeah. We'd have to take like a lot of pauses to go to the bathroom.
Just let it go, man.
Yeah.
We'll fill it right back.
I also feel like there's a lot of like electrical equipment hooked up right now that would...
Fine. You dangle that. We'll have it dangling from the ceiling. We're going to do some reverse ceiling stuff. In the movie, we have the cop who was, thrown from the car, Pastore. He's just at Jonathan's house now.
Yeah, he's knocking on the door.
He's not looking so good.
No.
And Jonathan quickly realizes, shockered, and he takes off running, and this is my favorite sequence of the movie. And this is funny because much like I have to watch some of these movies in halves, Mike did the same thing, and I saw Mike yesterday, and Mike's like, "Oh yeah, like I had to pause it." And I was like, "Where are you?" He's like, "Oh, you just got to the park." And I was like,
the park's my favorite part.
That's what I'm saying.
The park is good.
God, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
so much goes on in the park.
So Pastore is possessed in a cop's uniform, and he looks banged up to hell.
Yeah.
And Jonathan just books it into a park. And I understand Jonathan's motivation here. Like, I'm getting the hell out of here. Like, Jonathan does everything right.
He is running.
Yeah, he is full on running, and Pastore, who is
keeping up with him with this limp.
Yeah.
What is going on with that man?
Just blatantly shooting at him. Yeah. There's a baseball game in the back. There's people like running and looking over. You can tell people like, what's going on here?
And by the way, he has a revolver and must fire at least 17 shots out of this thing without reloading.
They did show him reloading once.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I missed that because I was like, there's way too many shots coming out of a revolver.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, well, one of those shots gets Jonathan in the shoulder, like real good in the shoulder, and he is bleeding everywhere. So I would, if I could and was conscious, I would do exactly what Jonathan does. He still is trying to run, and he's running and running. And Pastore, comes to, like, does he, like, I can't remember what he does. Like, he runs, but Pastori passes out or something?
So this is real weird, yeah. Like, he's been in this body too long. He needs to transfer bodies.
He's, like, using up the
energy. So he's
energy.
getting weak. Yeah. But it doesn't really do a good job of explaining that.
No, not really.
But that is what I inferred from that scene, because it was disjointed.
So then he passes out, like, low energy, ghost possession. But fake out, he's back, and he goes for an ankle gun and shoots Jonathan, and then gets up and shoots this random kid. And I'm only laughing because this kid has some dialogue. This kid's like, "No,
I didn't
do anything." And he didn't. He really didn't.
You know who this kid is? This is Wes Craven's son.
Oh,
okay.
Oh my God, Lamar!
Kind of explains why the dialogue is so weird.
Yeah, this kid could have ran for a while, but kind of hangs around like, oh, what's going on? And that's what happens. Like, he's stuck around too long, and ghost dude comes back enough to possess him, and now the kid is possessed.
Yeah, why did he shoot a person first to possess them? That seems like you wouldn't.
This whole
want
scene
a
was nuts, dude.
Well, so my thought is, I know what Mike's saying, but hear me out. Now that Jeremy was like, he's low level, like, danger, you're at like 1%.
He just needed something.
Yeah, he's leapfrogging,
Okay.
and that's what he does, because now he's about to get into this girl than a mom in a second. So yeah, Jonathan's running out of this park, and this girl runs into him with a little bicycle with, like, training wheels.
Yeah, like, oh, sorry, mister.
Yeah, but boom, fake out. That girl's possessed.
Well, not yet.
Not yet. Well, in a second.
After she drives off,
there's a lot of possession, back and forth possession going on here.
After the girl rides off, like, the mother rolls up. She's like, "Hey, did you see my daughter?" And then sees that this guy has been shot in the arm. He's like, "You know what? Never mind."
Yeah, I thought that too. I have this in my nose. I'm like, good for you.
Yeah.
But he tells her anyway.
So then this girl goes insane and starts operating a backhoe. And, and
come on, you fucker, move.
This little girl's yelling that.
Yeah.
And she's trying to mow Jonathan down in a backhoe. The mom is totally freaking out because the mom is seeing now some glimpses of, like, what the hell is my daughter doing?
Well, she also thinks Jonathan is just, like, attacking her daughter.
Yeah, but then the daughter, the fun part is the daughter just, like, runs 50 miles an hour after. And again, this girl's like 7 or 6, or I can't remember, 5. And Jonathan just runs. He's like, I'm trying to get out of here. And the mom's like, get away from my daughter. But the daughter is like, just totally books it, like, through the window.
Well, she kicks him in the dick.
Yeah.
And then hightails it out. But I don't know if we mentioned that Pinker has a limp because Jonathan shot him in the knee when he was a kid.
But
the limp goes with him to everybody.
It's shown, but it does not affect them. It does not slow anyone down.
That girl running with that limp was amazing for me.
She was, I think, faster.
Yeah, she was moving.
Oh, yeah. That girl, it was like someone pulled a string in a doll. That's how fast it was going. And then the mom's like, what the hell? And then, this is funny. So the guy is or Jonathan is, battling the daughter still. The mom's screaming, and a random construction worker rolls up like, whoa, hey, ma'am, do you need some help? Then the shocker jumps into mom, and then mom attacks the construction worker and gets into him. It's a shocking revelation.
Oh, yeah, he's jumping around.
Yeah, he's froggering it every which way.
And, well, to save himself, Johnny has that stupid necklace that he gave his girlfriend, and
we forgot about a dream premonition. She said in a dream to him that the necklace would protect him.
Yeah, her dream presence is bonkers. We'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, that's why I forgot, because right now it was so, like, drop in the bucket moment. It was like, Jonathan, remember that necklace? It protects you.
I didn't even take a note about it, but it just becomes important later.
Yeah, I totally forgot. It does happen, but then, like, her ghost presence is way stronger than that in a second. It's like, I was a dream. I'm right next to you.
I also want to make mention here that think about everything that we have talked about up till now, and there is still, like, a shitload of the movie.
We are halfway through this movie.
And he's still not traveling through electricity.
Yeah. But yeah, so the necklace for some reason thwarts the shocker.
Yeah, it's True Love's necklace.
It's shaped like a heart. So
every kiss begins with K.
And he's trying to ward him off with it, but the construction worker, like, hooks it on his pickaxe and throws it into a lake.
Yeah, construction worker has a pickaxe.
Yeah. The construction worker throws it into a lake. Into a lake. And Jonathan later will be like, I know where it is. And very quickly does, because he gets immediately an idea. I've got to go see the football team. Yeah. And I've got to talk to the coach.
Yeah.
And
by the way, he tells this coach everything, and the coach is like,
yeah, great, let's do it.
What do we do?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Immediately everyone's on board.
That's what we're saying. Dudes of Wrath. That's the crew. I thought Rabbit Troop Sucks Assembled was strong. Not against this football team. I mean, I tell Mike about a ghost. He hangs up on me.
Yeah.
He doesn't answer that text for a while. Maybe some of you would. I don't know.
I'll answer that. That text.
But straight up, they're on board to kill Pinker. It is, we need to kill Pinker, and what do we need to do? Let's totally do it. And this is amazing. So Jonathan's like, listen, I saw where this necklace went, and since I have enchanted necklaces, and the coach is like, he's like, I could go get it. But the only way I could get it is if you could go into my old haunted house that I used to live in and get a diving mask. And this is a college gym. This is a college facility.
Right. No diving mask. No goggles.
How about this?
I have that in my notes too.
How about this? If we can't go back to my house, I'm going to spend $6 at the store and go get this. Like, Coach, you have to go back to my house to get a diving mask? What the hell is going on here?
But he's in.
Well, and
Coach is totally in.
Yeah. At the beginning of the, like, when we were talking, you said we had, and maybe this is before we were recording, but this movie is 30 minutes longer than it should be. Like, this scene instigates that 30 minutes. This scene right here instigates that 30 minutes because from the point where they're like, we need to go back to your house and get a diving mask, and because the construction worker is underneath the bleachers listening, all of that takes place and really didn't need to, but it was wild that it did.
Everyone listening, please note, the diving mask is just like those old-timey, one lens. Like, you literally could have gotten goggles.
Anything.
This is $89. I'm really thinking for $4 at most, you could have gone to the store and bought goggles.
Like, hold a plastic bag over your face or something. Anything.
We're describing a snorkel is what we're describing. Onions? Not diving equipment, just a snorkel mask. Yes. Pretty much.
Who the hell cares? And the plan is, I'm going to do this at night.
Yeah, he wants to do it at night.
How about we get some goggles and a underwater flashlight?
But they also, God. I don't know why they split up. So he sends Coach and Ted Raimi, who's been in this movie a bunch but hasn't said anything yet. And his name is Pac-Man, I think.
Yeah, it's Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Poor Pac-Man.
He sends Coach and Pac-Man to his house, and him and Rhino go to the lake. Just to wait, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This lake scene with him and Rhino is like, what the fuck just happened? Why did this even exist?
Well, the big plan was Coach is going to get the mask and Jonathan's going to do nothing.
Yeah. He's going to wait around.
Right, and he does.
Yeah. But does he get like the heebie-jeebies or something? Because he decides to go back to the house because Coach doesn't show up.
No, he goes into the lake and he's like, it's nighttime. I can't see anything.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he goes in there, and Rhino's like, "This is not what Rhino's about."
He's like, "Yeah, it is. It's nighttime. We're not gonna be able to see. Like, should we go back to the house?" And they're like, "All right." And so that's what they do.
Yeah. That wasn't what Rhino was about. No. I learned that. That was a learning lesson by the end of this movie.
I think Johnny wanted to do it alone, and he told Rhino just to stay there, and this is his fight or something.
I mean, later on, there's more Jedi tricks. Yeah. Like, so that's how he's going to find that necklace, Lady in the Water, Excalibur style.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, well, so they're like, man, this is crazy. Coach, it was something like, there's something said, too, it was like, Coach would never be 3 hours late. Like,
they've been there all fucking night.
Wow.
So
his house is 10 minutes away.
Yeah, so they go back to Jonathan's haunted house that he keeps saying, I don't like going there, but that's where he does half his sleeping.
Yeah, he's there most of the time.
Damn, stay in a motel, dude. Stay in your car.
Yeah.
Stay anywhere. Do you have any other family members? But no, they keep going back there. Mm-hmm. Coach is just in the shower cutting himself and writing weird notes. Yeah, Coach.
Well, he's possessed, but he's fighting it.
Yeah. Well, not at first. Well, I think he lets him loose to talk to him for a second. He's like, Jonathan.
Well, I think that's why he's cutting himself because he was fighting it.
No, I thought the ghost was making him do that because he was writing messages.
I thought he was making him do it as punishment for fighting him. He was trying to weaken him.
Oh,
I don't fucking know.
Oh no, I think you're right because
This scene does not do a good job of that.
Well,
no, it does.
Yeah,
I fought it off with Will, and then it says Jonathan says, "Then will him out."
Yeah.
So yeah, the coach is the one. That coach, he'll do
because
anything.
Allison makes an appearance right here. She's talking to him now, and I don't know why.
Well,
Allison has made an appearance.
Well, no, I could answer this. No, this totally makes sense. So remember, Allison was kind of like a wispy ghost in a dream before. Mm-hmm. Okay, well now everyone's done a lot of drugs, including Wes Craven and all of the screenwriters.
Exactly.
And now anything goes, and that's the rationale I could give you. That Ghost could just really talk to you. He's one step away from having
Allison
sex
comes
with a
in
ghost.
and he's like, "Hey, coach, you can fight this, by the way." And he's like, "I can." She's like, "Yeah, go for it."
And she's just standing by.
Right. Well, it doesn't fucking
so
work.
he starts to fight it, but then he's like, that's really difficult. She's like, "Yeah, no."
Yeah.
And so he's dead.
Yeah, well, he's dead. And then the shocker kind of escapes. And then the ghost of Allison has a fucking like chest beam.
Well, yeah. Do you remember how he escapes? He goes through electricity. He finally goes. He's trying to go through the wall outlet.
But yeah, Allison does do some kind of like fucking Iron Man shit to somebody.
I'm sorry, Iron Man. I wrote Care Bear stare.
Yeah, that's accurate.
She chest blasts them with light like she's an effing Care Bear on a holy mission. Care Bear stare right at him.
But yeah, then he escapes through an outlet. This is not something that he knew he could do. He's just like, I'll give this a shot.
Here's a fun piece of the movie too. And then she's like, "Jonathan, come here. I have a ghost secret for you." And we, the audience, don't know what it is.
We will never find out what that is.
She alludes to it later. She's got little ghost secrets. Mm-hmm. Damn her little ghost secrets. Yeah, and so Pinker then extends his finger and he's out. He does go through the outlet like a real shocker. And Daddy Don rolls up just like right there. He is irate. And then lights a cigarette, and he's like, and I just wrote, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he knocks on the door. He comes in. Johnny's covered in blood, and the dad makes no reference to it.
No.
At all.
That's because he lit a
lights
cigarette.
Up a cigarette and just starts like having like a heart-to-heart with this.
Yeah.
Jeremy, in the late 80s, these were cigarette commercials. Like, do you want to come home and murder? So, yeah. Do you ever feel like coming home, murdering your family who's murdering other people?
You got that bloodlust, Chesterfield.
Yeah, light up a cool. Because you're a cool guy, bro. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But
it's the cool choice for a hot night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dad's not in it this time. No, we're gonna arrest him.
Yeah, well, he's having the heart-to-heart, but then he sees the body of the coach and Ted Raimi and the smashed diving mask.
Yeah, even the dad was like, "Yeah, I'm bringing you downtown. Here's a fun thing: no cuffs. No, we're gonna do this not by the books.
Why would you?"
Mm-hmm. And so Daddy has a little smile, and as Jonathan goes in the back seat, Jonathan's screaming because he knows Dad's possessed, and you're like, "Damn, they're screwed," because now there's a bunch of cops. They're all around the house. Jonathan is in the back seat of a cop car. The doors are locked, etc. Boom! Smash of a window. Who's there?
Fucking Rhino.
Your buddy Rhino just pulled you out of a cop car. Flew you backwards, told you to run. You book it, and then Rhino like jumps in the middle of a circle of police officers like he's gonna Ninja Turtle everyone in the face. Mm-hmm. And Jay bolts. Like that's what goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He runs up to like a TV studio.
Oh, I got music by a Different Breed.
Just about to ask what the song was.
Dead On.
There was some more rad metal.
Yeah, I like this song.
So yeah, this is an escape scene to this song, and the dad is possessed by Pinky, and he has fired at least 40 to 50 shots at his son from like 30 yards away, and has not hit him at all whatsoever, and is keeping up with him with the giant limp.
Yeah.
Yeah, the limp.
But then they climb up a radio tower, and Jonathan tells him to fight him, to stop it. You could do it, stop it. And then he does for a moment. Jonathan, fake out, boom. No, it's back to Pinker. Mm-hmm. But then Daddy does, in fact, kick him out and kind of wakes up on a radio tower. I would freak out which way.
He before that happens, he kind of fell off and he was hanging on. but he was hanging on while fighting in front of a satellite dish, which kind of beamed Pinky out of him.
And he says, now I'm nationwide, asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. And he just yorts off into the night.
Yeah.
And
Dad was able to rid himself of him because he fought him and said he had a bad heart. Well, that was the real fake out, because Dad's like, I don't have a fake heart. But then we see John Tesh, and he makes it all better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now, audience, you thought this movie was nuts beforehand. It gets real nuts now.
Well, let's talk about just John Tesh for just a real quick one. How long of a hug, like minute or second wise, from a hug with John Tesh would then becomes uncomfortable? I'm thinking like 5 minutes. 10 minutes?
5 minutes?
I'm giving it like 5 seconds.
Maybe less than that.
Yeah. Just hear me out. John Tesh approaches
I'm
you.
going real short.
I imagine John Tesh is 11 feet tall. He looks like he would be 11 feet tall. He approaches you from the woods like a giant. Mm-hmm. He goes, and just gives you a hug. You just lean into it. 5-10 minutes. You're probably blessed. You're blessed from a woodland creature.
If I'm in the same room as John Tesh, I'm a little, on edge. I'm not going to survive a hug.
Yeah, well, he's been eyeing you from the room this whole time.
I think he's doing that now.
Your character is embracing the moment. Your character is
John
now
Tesh
at the table alone with John Tesh.
That's a bad moment.
Moments with John Tesh.
Your character is now trading cell phone numbers with John Tesh.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah, but Jonathan is in jail.
Well, no, he's been exonerated because...
Yeah, he's exonerated.
Oh, that's what John Tesh is saying.
Yeah, there's another family was killed. They think it's by a copycat.
Yeah, but Pac-Man's dead, and so's Coach Cooper, and that's a real bummer.
Now the entire football team is going to get involved in this scenario.
Now it's... Was it Dudes of Wrath?
The Dudes of Wrath, yeah.
It's the Dudes of Wrath 0.2 or 2.0. I mean, so, they're amped.
Let's talk about this plan, because I didn't fully understand it when it was happening.
I didn't understand it at all while it happened. I understand what they did. To cut to the chase, it's the football team is on standby.
To cut the power.
Yes, to the whole city.
Yeah.
So the goal is they're going to capture...
Yeah,
the shocker,
like a ghost,
like a ghost.
Yeah, this is like
on
this
a VHS
is like
tape.
The fucking rollout thing from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, they're gonna catch him on a VHS tape while it's recording live, and then cut the power, and he'll be trapped in that tape that they plan to destroy.
Right,
that is the plan that I had to piece together. For the next 35 minutes.
Jonathan is in a room with a TV production team who he convinced to be there.
If you're our friend Gabe, it would be, you're now in a room.
You're in a room. This is a room.
This is a room you were in. Oh, also note, I love that the football team upgrades to 2.0 because now everyone's wearing a trench coat.
Yeah,
and that means
but they were fucking team trench coats because they had their number on the back of them. True, yeah. Those were issued to them.
That's a badass football team right there.
I'm sorry. Are we lacking team trench coats for Rabbit Troop Sucks?
Can we get Rabbit Troop Sucks dusters?
We are, Paul.
If you are interested in getting dusters and you're a good person, then that's exactly what should happen. Or we need to invest in like patches that go to those dusters. We should look into that.
Okay.
I'm on it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so part one is this trench coat gang. I don't want to get weird with it because we live in Colorado, but this trench coat gang rolls up to cut the power, and they're on standby. And then, Jonathan, Lady in the Water Excalibur style, is going to get this. And this is what was super confusing to me.
This is a dream.
Yeah. Which doesn't make any sense, but he's in a dream that you are kind of made aware 4 minutes later.
Yeah, but he's looking for the necklace in this dream.
So I watched it and thought he just went back to the lake and he's getting this. Right. No, he went immediately to the haunted house bed and went to bed, and now he's in dream scenario.
Water bed.
Yeah, and he's in the lake, so he astrally projected his body or his soul, and he then runs into Allison. And he dives down 3 times just trying to find it. Then he's like, "Oh, Allison, I need your help, someone." And she shows up, and he scampers off like a little ass because he's like, "I need your help." And he's like, "Ah." It's kind of funny because I really feel in one scene he's like doggy paddling diagonally away, like, "Ah."
There was an undertow.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. But okay, so Allison eventually catches up. They make out for a little bit, as you do,
right?
And that's when I'm like, wait a minute, is this a dream? And it is. And I swear to God, there's a cutscene and they had sex. In my mind, they ghost dream sex.
Oh, probably.
And
that's where the real X came from.
That happened. I don't care what anyone says. That happens. And the football team simultaneously picks the lock, and the electronic grid to everything in the world is now unlocked.
Right. They're getting ready.
Yeah, and then Jonathan wakes up.
He wakes up.
And he has the necklace now, doesn't he?
He finds the necklace on him. Yeah. Now, in his room...
The Vibe-O-Matic.
He's sitting in the Vibe-O-Matic, which is like some kind of electric vibrating chair. Skinner's in the TV, and while he's in the TV, he's able to interact with other characters that are in shows.
I noted this is like Stay Tuned from 1992.
Correct.
Which I'm 100% willing to do for this podcast.
So he bonks someone on the head in the show, and then crawls out of the TV like Ringu.
And now could possess all electronics.
Right. And then he possesses the goddamn chair.
Yeah, which is awesome because I sent Mike a picture, and the chair possession looks like Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse chair comes to life and is trying to Cherry's trying to hug attack him, hug to death.
Yeah, this Barcalounger is gonna kick your ass, boy.
He possessed the chair.
He possessed the chair. Yeah. What? He's got the one-liners coming in hot and heavy.
We also have Demon Bell, the Ballad of Horace Pinker. That's the song by Dangerous Toys.
The montage song.
Yeah.
And now they are running through television shows from some...
Totally Stay Tuned style.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nothing's recorded. Maybe some things are recorded live, but it's so goofy now that, a pre-recorded show, imagine anything notable that, I don't know, what would be a famous show now, like...
I'll just give one out. He straight up took footage of Leave It to Beaver.
And Dean Cleaver were...
Yeah, and they're like, what's going out the window? So now, Beaver and, Ward and everyone is, interacting with these characters. So it's off the hook at this point in time.
Yeah, they jump in the TV. He asks him if he wants to go for a ride in his Volkswagen.
I did write that in there.
And also Jonathan is very lucky to fight off Pinker and grab a magic remote control now.
Yeah, I don't know what show he got the remote control from.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah, I mean, they're going back and forth with all this stuff. There's, a televangelist, there's a game show, there's some kind of they're back in their house or with news correspondents. I mean, it's going crazy, and eventually they get a remote control, and now the remote control basically, and if you Stay Tuned, which was a later film, this is basically the magic wand to get out.
Yeah,
I mean...
Well, they pop out into the room that Johnny had set up to capture him in.
Yeah.
Luckily.
But the news crew is filming this room. That's why they wanted him there.
Correct.
And they're recording it.
Yeah. They're not really in a room. Yeah. They're in a virtual room.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the room on the camera.
This is a room.
And Johnny, because he has the remote, and he does freeze frame. He does the freeze frame.
Pause.
Yeah, he pauses. Yeah. He fucking pauses Pinky, and he's just kind of stuck.
Yeah. And so now Jonathan takes this. So this is how it works in this magic world. So I'm trying to even think how to discuss this. Pinker is stuck on Pinker is stuck on a VHS tape. And so instead of rewinding fast forward, Jonathan has a remote control, again, that is just magic as hell.
Well, he's using it like a magic wand to whip him around.
Yeah, so instead of rewinding, he's able to just whip him against a wall and just beat the holy shit out of him. And then I just made a side note that I thought of deep into this movie. I just thought, what's going on here? And it's this. Why has he been wearing this prison jumpsuit the whole time? Why is that his outfit? Remember, he Obi-Wan Kenobi'd himself out. He could be wearing a suit. He could be wearing a black ninja outfit. He could be wearing anything.
It was really comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But he has to wear the clothes of the people that he possesses. I think just his spirit, which by the way, he's floating through in a shitty TV effect.
Oh yeah, every time we've mentioned that you can see him, it's a staticky apparition of him.
And wasn't this essentially the secret that Allison said? Like, I think the plan came from Allison to some extent.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what she was secretly telling him.
Yeah, like there's a way. Like, so that was like the ghost secret. And so basically, that's what happens. And then they radio into the football team and they turn off all of the electricity. And
he's trapped.
Yeah, he's trapped, and I guess it dies. Maybe.
Well, no. So
there's a flaming TV.
They get trapped together because he doesn't jump out of the TV soon enough,
right? Because his watch
some
is broken.
distraction.
Yeah.
His watch is broken. Yes.
Yeah.
And then for some reason he's like, all right, well, I'll jump out to the camera. He does that. Mm-hmm. He's the only one that gets out. Somehow the TV blows up.
Yeah.
And you hear Pinky screaming from the TV.
Yeah.
He like turns the power off on the remote and the flames like die down. And yeah, we're done with Pinky.
Yeah. Or are we?
Oh, he pulled the plug before Horace could get out. That's kind of how the TV blew up.
Rhino cut the power and everything went off.
Okay, yeah.
So he was stuck in that one tape and that there was no access, and then the power was cut, and then everything burned.
Right.
So then Jonathan walks outside like a zombie.
Right.
And like he's like mangled and bloodied and scarred and like ashy and all weird. And all the power's cut off, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, the power's cut off! We could finally see the night sky. This is crazy!"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." And then he walks off amongst the crowd, and the movie ends.
Yeah. One of his neighbors is like, "Hey, I just saw you on the tube. Is that real?"
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Hey, you know who that neighbor was? That's Wes Craven.
Yeah.
And that completes the Craven series.
There we go. And oh my god. And the music, at the very end, we are graced with the song Sword and Stone by the band Bonfire.
Another banger.
And there's the last scene is the heart constellation.
Yeah.
Letting him know that what's-her-name is...
Allison.
Allison is out there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, she's out there.
Ready to ghost fuck later.
'Tis the season.
Like Patrick Swayze from fucking...
Yeah. They're going to make a goddamn
pottery scene together.
Well, she's going to possess a vase.
Yeah.
You could figure out the rest in that song. Before we go into our final overview, as always, feel free to reach out to us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. If you have anything you want to listen to or you have any movie suggestions, let us know. Hit us up at rabbittroopsucks.com, the webpage proper. You could stream our audio there. You could watch or look at some fun pictures or weird things that we write. We're on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Hit us up. Again, if there's something you want to listen to and we like it, we'll send you a shot glass, a Rabbit Troop Sucks shot glass.
Yeah.
So let us know. But yeah, how did everyone like Shocker? Shocking.
Who's going first?
I'll go first this time. All right. This movie was too fucking long. The beginning, the first hour of this movie is just Pinky committing murders. Like, he should have become the Shocker within 20 minutes.
Totally agree.
That would have made this better for me. Make this movie an hour and a half. He goes right to being the Shocker. Everything else was fine. I like Mitch Pileggi in general. I thought he was fun in this. Like, he was playing a weirdo. That's fine. I don't know. This movie sucks, but I enjoyed watching it. But it was just too long.
I'm going to go next, too. Usually, Mike and I go last. Yeah. I totally agree with Mike. I mean, we talked about this. I overall kind of like this film, but it's way too long, and it makes me not like this film overall then. Like, I like the story. When we get to the park, as noted, that park scene is bananas.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I totally agree with Mike. If it was 20 minutes that led to that park, like, I'm doing crazy stuff, and Jonathan's doing a weird college stuff, and then there's 20 minutes of backstory, and then boom, Pinker dies, and now all of a sudden there's park scenes and possessed cops, this movie would have been infinitely better. This movie's got to get its fat trimmed. I love Wes Craven, so clearly not a shot against him, but I'm glad this franchise didn't keep going. And it said low box office ratings led that.
Yeah, swing and a miss.
Yeah, but I think this movie is totally fun to see if you like horror movies, especially if it's October. I would recommend it to that extent. Just know, like, do some stuff in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you're like, oh, I need to use the restroom. Don't pause it.
No. If you're a Wes Craven fan and you haven't seen this movie, you should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go get another beer or a beverage, you just keep it going.
Yeah.
You are not going to pause it. And you're going to go there. You're even going to check some work emails on your phone. You're like, okay. Then you're like, okay, now I'm going to go back. So, yeah. As I often feel, we were taking notes and I'm pausing it. So this hour and 50-minute film was really like 2 hours and maybe 30 minutes because I'm like pausing and stuff like that. But so, yeah. Don't pause it. But yeah. Lamar, Jeremy, where are you at?
Jeremy,
go ahead, Lamar. This is one of those movies that's not good, but like watching it with a group of friends and discussing it is kind of fun and everything. And that's what I think about this movie, because it was way too long, but it is bonkers, man. Like, it's crazy how many things they packed into this movie. This is obviously Wes Craven, like, on drugs, drunk, or... Yeah, I mean, it was nuts, but I enjoyed watching it, but it's not a good movie.
I do want to say one more thing, because Jeremy brought this up. It was my next day thought, so I watched this movie over 2 nights as well, just like Mike did. But the next day, when I was thinking about this, it was exactly what Jeremy just said. This movie is like fun to talk about and stuff. I think this movie would definitely have been better if we all watched it together and then discussed it. Yeah. Because this is definitely, like, I was chuckling to myself. Yeah, like if we were in a room, the energy would have been different. But just watching it essentially by myself, I'm like, oh, like, haha, there's no one to talk to. And there's definitely a movie like you want to talk over a little bit because sometimes there's minimal dialogue and people are just chasing each other in a park.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot to be said about watching movies together with friends like that. Mm-hmm. I think this is the exact movie that you want to do that with.
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned earlier that this is 1984 and 1990. Wes Craven wrote, I don't want to say direct because I had to look this up. He wrote 6 movies. And they were Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through 5 and Shocker, which was shoveled right in the middle there. So a lot of the influence from Nightmare on Elm Street flows right in through Shocker. So I think that explains a lot of the dream powers, how they're not explained. I think Wes Craven's just saying, hey, you know this stuff. Come on, just get with it.
You think it's maybe the same universe?
I think it's the same universe, especially the way he does things.
Well, I mean, I think Nightmare on Elm Street 1 is one thing, but when you're looking at Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, it is heavily influenced by this kind of like vibe and film. I mean, Freddy is definitely limited in Nightmare on Elm Street 1, I mean, which is definitely, I think, a superior film in the franchise for those reasons. But in 3, 4, stuff like this, people have all sorts of unexplained powers. They can interact with them. It is totally this. I totally agree, Lamar.
This is between 4 and 5, so that's where all the powers kind of fit in.
Man, so we were robbed of a Pinky Pinky Freddy team up.
Yeah, I don't think Nightmare on Elm Street, the franchise, is done. We might. So
Pinky that's true. Can come back. Yeah. What's Mitch Pileggi up to these days?
Nothing. Wondering if the X-Files is going to come back for the 9th time.
No, I heard they stopped that.
Mike, they're never going to stop them. Mike, that's the X-Files. They keep saying, like, we're never going to come back, but we're going to come back, but we're not going to.
It's like the QAnon of the nerd world.
Yeah.
I don't have much more to add on to this. I just echo what you guys were saying. It's too long. What would you say? 20 minutes they can cut out of this
30.
movie.
I would 30 say straight up 30
20
minutes.
20 to 30 minutes.
I did just want to mention one other thing. There's you guys remember the evangelical minister?
Yeah.
That was Timothy Leary.
The Cash for Christ guy?
Man. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So just I mentioned that other cameo there. Other than that, you guys said it best. Too long. This movie, it gets a little crazy near the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And well, it's a little deeper than your typical slasher film, but don't expect
way deep.
Yeah, don't expect any. It's I don't know what to say. Just have fun and enjoy this movie with friends. That's the important part.
Hell yeah! And as always, this is it's fall weather. It's October weather. So coming at you next. I'm hoping Mike's gonna like this one. This is the one questionable one Mike has. But we're going to come at you with Ray Bradbury's 1983 film adaptation of Something Wicked, This Way Comes. A much different film, and something that I actively forgot until just thinking about it recently because we were going to do the film. This is a Disney film, so this is not on Disney streaming. I have the DVD for this. I think you could rent this film. We're going to watch it on my DVD, and Jeremy's going to rent it. So, yeah, I have not seen this film in ages. Lamar and I have talked about this age of Disney for ages, that there's these darker themed Disney films that do not get airtime on Disney Channel. And we've mentioned, The Black Cauldron, which was banned for a while. And then that might be on streaming, but other movies are not. I know Watcher in the Woods is always questioned, but yeah, there's these weird dark Disney films. And this movie is all about being dark. It's about like a couple kids' shenanigans amongst a dark world. But yeah, I look forward to watching it because I personally have not seen this movie in ages. The warning to all of you is, more geared to Mike, is I don't remember a lot of silliness in this. Like, I'm not watching it for a silly factor. I'm watching it for like, this is like a dark story. And have you ever read any Ray Bradbury? Mm-hmm. Did you like any of it?
Yeah, it's all right.
I've only read one Ray Bradbury thing outside of, I think, like a couple like small short stories. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I read his book on writing, which I really liked. I did this in a school scenario, and I was like, oh, wow, this is like really interesting. But yeah, I've never read this book. I would actively like to read this book. Jeremy, you have seen this movie, correct?
I have, but it's been a really, really long time.
And Lamar, have you seen it?
I don't think I have,
all right,
honestly.
Well, I'm very curious, but coming at you next time, we're going to look at, again, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Enjoy your Halloween season. Carve some pumpkins. Carve some Rabbit Troop Sucks logos. And clearly we're going to put them on air. So the first 100 people to reach out on that contest is going to get a firm smile from Mike and a chuckle. So.
Yeah, you say that now, but when your inbox is flooded with thousands and thousands, you're going to regret it.
I don't think I would if I got 1,000 sincere pumpkin carving pictures.
Sincere, yeah, not like that other message we got.
Yeah, sincere. So yeah, take that. Well, yeah. Carve your pumpkins. Do some spooky stuff. Stuff in your ear. Mike likes hearing that. Put some spooky time in your ear this Halloween season. As it was Rabbit Troop Size.
Rabbit Troop Size.
Rabbit Troop Size.